I think you guys have been very helpful to me when I've been living here with figuring out, about the scariness of life and all of that, being a young person. And the podcast, I want to have the audience, I'm addressing it more towards younger people because I feel like that's a fun audience, my friends and people like that.
They're probably the only ones who want to
I
hear
know.
from you. Actually.
That's true. But
at this point, at least.
Don't worry, give it a year, Grandma. I'll be famous. I'll be. You'll get to show off to your friends that.
Well, you're famous in our
eyes.
Oh, there you go. No, but you get to show off to your friends that you were on the first episode.
We knew you before when?
Before I became
before
rich and famous. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But my question that I have so diligently prepared for today's podcast. I mean, I have a few just in case the conversation gets dry, but I don't think it will.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
We'll see.
But my first question is kind of a broad one, but I was saying, you've been very helpful to me during this time of me living here, and I was just wondering more, what is your general advice to younger people? Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, I would say one thing would be to not just automatically reject the advice of your elders. Because it's easy, knowing when I was young, it's easy to think you know more than you know.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, there's a sense of, gee, I haven't had experience, and kind of glossing over that. Your elders have had experience, and you can pick through it. You can learn from them, and pick through what has meaning for you, and what doesn't. But your elders are a great source of help.
Right. I think that's true.
Yeah.
You guys have been very helpful.
Yeah, well, it's one thing is to read the information or to hear it.
Yeah.
Even to hear it in a conversation like we're having, than to actually live it.
Right.
When you go through something, that's what's going to teach you the most.
The experience of it.
The experience. And that's why what Alan is saying is so true. And I think we were trained not to hear the wisdom of our elders in terms of our parents or uncles or grandparents.
Yeah.
Because, at times they weren't sharing their lives. They were just sharing in a way of, don't do this or do that. Don't do this or do that. But it came out of, they've already been there. They already done it.
Right.
But it comes across like rules and regulations.
But I feel like that's a very difficult thing to teach or impart that wisdom on people, because for them to do that, they have to really be in tune with themselves first, right? Or something like that.
Well, they have to, first of all, respect the opinion of somebody who's older than them.
And be open.
Because what happens is you're on the screen most of the time. So you're learning a lot from the platforms that you have. So you're listening to people that you don't know and don't have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
You don't know them. They're just people in that machine, or, you learn from watching a movie. Let's put it that way. There are teachings in there too.
Right.
And some of it you relate to it, and some of it you don't. So I would say learn from your experiences and go to people who are older than you. They might be your neighbor, and ask them what they did in that situation. You know, go
Yeah.
to somebody who you just know has been through that, and then you'll see that it's the same. You're
And
going
yet-
through the same thing they went through.
Right, and people have a what I would call a bullshit filter.
Yeah.
No matter how old or young you are, it's a good filter. You can sense when something is just not right,
Yeah.
but give it a chance.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's one of the fun parts of this is there's planes that go by, so. Right, but going back to so
I mean,
Right.
one example that I can think of is, you went through a rough time while you were living with us, with relationship,
yeah.
with young people.
Yeah.
But
That is true.
yeah, that is true. I know you didn't want to talk about it, but okay, here it is. And you were able to hear the people around you because we've all been through it.
Yeah, you guys were very helpful with that.
Yes, so it's like, why try and figure that out and go through that alone? Is don't isolate yourself. For young people, the biggest thing that we've noticed is isolation.
And I think that's why people are getting more and more depressed nowadays.
Yeah, I think so. I think so because we're social animals. I'm not saying be with people 100, all the time.
Yeah.
But choose to interact with people because we need people, especially right now. Look, we're missing being with people. We're
Yeah.
lucky because we've had each other, but some
And we haven't killed each other yet.
No.
And you'll be fortunate if you find even one or two people in your life who are not superficial, who are not just looking for a good time, who you can share your deepest emotions, your deepest concerns with.
Worries,
And,
pains.
They're
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah.
Most people tend to just, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? I'm good.
Yeah.
But to find even one or two in your life who you can really go deep with, very valuable. So you're not just talking to yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, we touched on it. I think that's really helpful. But we touched on it a little bit before, but with relationships and stuff, that feels, for me anyway, really difficult. And I think it's really difficult for a lot of people
It's for all
to
of us.
handle, and they don't know what,
Well, you have all
how to
your
handle it.
emotions are in play, and
And you're vulnerable. You have fallen in love. Your heart is open.
Right, but
You
so
know?
many people don't do that. So many people don't go into a relationship saying, "Oh, I want to fall in," like I'm looking for that.
But it happens whether you go into it or not. That's the magic of being in these bodies.
But I
or
think so.
being-
But I think so many people, especially from,
You think they all go into a relationship just to have sex?
yeah. I think a lot of people. Oh, I think a lot of people are like that,
Yeah.
and I think it's a lot. Like you were saying, I think you mentioned this previously, but it takes a lot of courage to go in for anything else. And nowadays, especially because of with social media and having the opportunity to escape and look away from what's really there, and being vulnerable is very difficult for people,
many
especially
ways
now.
to be distracted.
Right.
Yeah. But the thing is, the moment you're attracted to another person,
Mm-hmm.
there's that spark of love. There's that, whichever way, as far as you go into the relationship, but being vulnerable and open to another human being, it's one of the most beautiful things you can do. And even when your heart is broken, you gotta have the courage to do it again.
That's easy to
That's-
say, but I feel like that's
Oh, I
hard to
know.
do.
But after you have we all have gone through it. We all have gone through heartbreaks, and we grieve, and we feel like crap, and we, and we think of all the things we did wrong or all the things the other person did wrong. But at the end of the day, you'll get over it, and you'll learn, and you'll find another person.
Yeah, it might not be at the end of the day. It might be
Take a
the
little
end
while.
of
Yeah,
months, or it can even take years to
absolutely.
really get over something.
But how should young people approach it? Like, how should people my age approach this?
Take time after you have been heartbroken and be truthful.
But like going into, or okay, so that's part of it. But like,
be truthful when you are in the relationship. Be courageous when you are in the relationship to what truly is going on. Of course, we all want honest people to have relationships with.
right.
No matter how deep the relationship goes or not, but just be really truthful to yourself. Don't lie to yourself.
That's hard, I feel like.
Yeah, of course. Who said life was easy? Alan, is life easy?
No, all you
Life is
talk
not
about,
easy.
Grandma.
We've talked about
all you talk about is struggle.
It's hard. We all.
Life is difficult,
Yeah.
and we grow up very often as in our childhood seeing cartoons that depict the magic fairy and life is all about happiness. But
Right.
that's a bad image.
So it's all about depression and sadness. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not.
No,
about-
it's just that you need to be ready to struggle and engage life fully.
That's scary.
And it's
I'll say
scary and
that.
it takes courage.
And it's exciting too.
Right.
Because remember, when we get scared, it's because we're excited about something too. Sometimes you think, I'm really scared, but really what you're feeling is a lot of energy moving. And so, yes, it is scary. We get scared. We still get scared. I mean,
Absolutely.
at our age, Grandpa almost 80, me 60.
Yeah.
But
Fear is part of being a human being.
Yeah, we do get scared. That's
But
just
what
the truth.
separates successful people, and I mean successful in relationship, from those that aren't, is courage. You can't wait for fear to disappear.
It won't.
It won't, no.
Yeah.
So you have to take fear with you. I think of it as just putting it in a backpack and moving forward with the fear. And
How do you work through that?
well, it's not a once you work through it thing. It's like you're constantly engaging your fears and summoning up your courage to take action.
Even if it's small action.
Yeah,
It
in fact,
doesn't-
it's good to take small action.
It doesn't mean that you're going to be like the hero in the movies. You're going to go courage. That kind of courage.
Yeah.
That's the way I used to think courage.
You have
was.
to have this big moment
The
of
moment of,
growth.
oh my God, you're going to overcome something huge. It's in the small actions. I mean, when we get in the car, when you're learning how to drive, you get scared, right? To get in the car and
Yeah.
get out there at full speed with something that is unknown.
I mean,
And you're
for-
excited at the same time.
It might just be getting outside after being hurt in a relationship. Just getting outside and being with friends.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
meeting people. Even if you
Not
don't
with
feel
the
good.
idea of meeting them like it has to produce a relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just getting
That's
outside.
courage.
That's,
Good, sorry.
That takes
Yeah.
courage. Right.
That's difficult, but
Yeah.
good to know. I'm getting weird amount of feedback on your mic, but I'm trying to figure out why that is. I guess I'm just gonna have to roll with it, but
Are
Okay.
we talking too loud?
no.
Yeah. Are we too close?
No, I think it's the wind or something. We're
Yeah, it could
outside,
be,
so
because there is a nice.
there's a nice
breeze.
breeze, but it doesn't sound very nice on the mic. I'm trying to figure out. Let me try something real quick.
Okay.
Do you need to put a towel over this?
Yeah, I don't. Let me see.
Maybe you're hitting it.
There you go. No. Okay, it's a little better now. We'll see.
There you go, defending Grandpa again. He
I
didn't
have to
say-
defend
Oh,
him.
my Lord.
We can't let him get attacked. Of course not. Of course I'm gonna defend him.
Yeah.
So that's really good advice.
Okay.
That's what we talked about when I've been going through stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or
We're going through
or you
stuff.
guys are going through
Yeah,
stuff.
we-
Yeah, you never stop going through stuff.
Right.
Whether
That's a
you're-
good piece of advice. Let's write that
You'll
down.
never
Whether you're 18 or 19 or 80,
Yeah.
always
it's, as long as you're alive, you're going through stuff.
Yeah.
Going
And
through
have
stuff.
good
There you go.
company. That's the other thing that I think we forget, how important it is to have good company around you.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with good company
Mhm.
and figure what good company is for you.
Well, I think now more than ever we need to have good company.
Yeah.
I think it's really good to get out of that digital space for a second. You know.
And
So.
also your mind going off, and not you can be your best good company also.
Another
And
thing,
support it with other people.
right. Another thing is not being afraid to end a relationship that's not working.
Oh, you have a lot of experiences
I
doing
have
that.
lots of experience.
Yeah.
And my life would have been a miserable story to tell if I hadn't had the courage to end a couple of relationships.
Mm. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be your wife today. if I done that. Thank God you haven't ended this one. You don't have time.
It's never
Yeah.
too late.
There you go.
Cheers.
Mhm.
Oh,
Right. End relationships. Got it.
okay.
No.
Any other questions? If they're no good for you, if they're not helping you grow and
Right.
you are supporting another person, the relationship is both ways.
Yeah.
You have to be great to the other person too,
Yeah.
for their own good, for their learning
Mhm.
and transformation.
Yeah.
It's not just about being together. You influence each other's learning and growth.
And
Right.
it takes tremendous courage to end a relationship that's not working.
It's so true.
Uh-huh.
Because you wouldn't have been in the relationship in the first place if you didn't care about the other person,
Right.
and so you know that ending it is going to be painful for
Yeah.
both of you.
Mhm.
But you need to face that. I like to think of it as you look in the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say to yourself, am I willing to go on with my life in this way? And if the answer is yes, just stop complaining and get on with it.
Yeah.
But if it's no, summon up your courage and do whatever you need to do to end it and move on.
Mm. It's deep.
But he's intense.
It's very intense today, Grandpa.
He got a lot of rest, I think.
Yeah. Very full of energy to give the people what they want to, or maybe what they don't want to hear.
Just because, Andrew, just because we're saying doesn't mean that anybody's gonna take it and use it.
No, I know.
Okay, good. Because we're not attached to it either. You know that.
No, I know, but it's good advice, and I think it's calling for people to be courageous,
Yeah.
and that's difficult.
And at difficult times,
Right.
because we're all going through it.
We're all going through it. That is true.
Oh my God.
It's very true. Okay, so we're all going through it. That's a good jumping point.
What else do you
So-
have there?
We've talked about this off air, shall we say?
Oh.
But especially right now, since we're all going through it, how do we find meaning? And how do we find our quote unquote purpose right now? Because it's difficult.
Well, I'd
It's
say
a
one
scary
thing
world out there.
Yeah.
is finding your purpose and meaning can become a cliche.
Yeah, well, I think it is a cliche.
It is.
Yeah.
And it isn't like all of a sudden your purpose and meaning are going to show up
Mm-hmm.
with, stars shining
And letting you know.
music playing in the background. No. You got to try a lot of things. Maybe you'll try one particular thing and you thought it was exactly what you wanted to do. Maybe when you were 15, you decided you wanted to be a doctor or something. And then you get into medical school and you realize, God, this is the last thing I want to do. But gee, I made a commitment to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, this is where you need to look at it and make a course correction.
Course correction.
Yeah, and try something else.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that, I'm just speaking for myself, that purpose and meaning you can find in everything you do if it's fulfilling you.
Yes.
Like,
If it makes you happy, or if it makes you feel
if it makes
good
you
about yourself?
I don't know if that's the right description.
Satisfied,
Like, let's
fulfilled.
say I'm cooking dinner. Now, there's a lot to do in making dinner, right?
yes.
And it's a lot of
depends
work.
what type of dinner.
Exactly.
If you're making a French chicken,
that
which we
you
make
love so
sometimes,
much, yes.
that's a difficult
That's
process.
It's a difficult, but
yes,
there's purpose in meaning.
because it's a satisfying
It's
dish.
an experience. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
journey that
good
you
chicken.
do. You commit to do it.
You have the mashed potatoes on the side.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, when I think of purpose and meaning, I don't think of the big thing of purpose and meaning. I think more on the day-to-day purpose and meaning.
You guys have been reading Jordan Peterson's 12 ways.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
12
12 ways for life.
12 rules.
12 rules for life. And one of
yeah.
the things he was talking about was finding your impulses.
Yeah. Where
Right?
it-
Is that what you're
Yeah,
implying
and-
at more?
yeah,
Is that
and
what
I
you're trying to
guess
say?
the way I'm thinking about it is, whatever it is that is in front of you that you're doing at the moment, be fully committed. And I think that's what's going to inform you. Is this the thing I want to do for the rest of my life? Or is it something else? But like Alan said earlier, you have to try things.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're not going to know. And when you do find the one that is really hard, like we were in that conversation before, it's not easy, but you wouldn't want to do anything else. It's just that it doesn't even occur to you there would be
It's
another
not.
thing.
I'm going back to, is it not fulfilling? Is that what you're trying to say?
That it is fulfilling.
Oh, but the reason why you don't want to do anything else is because nothing else is.
It's as
as
fulfilling.
fulfilling.
Exactly.
Okay.
You find
Yeah.
something in it that has a different juice, a different essence to it.
Yeah.
And, I think of your grandpa one time. He went on a journey, and it was a really difficult journey because there was a lot of weather. He had to go up a mountain.
You were in nature.
Yeah, he was in nature. There was not enough food to eat, blah, blah, blah. And it was hard work to go do that.
To physically get
physically
there.
do
Yeah.
that. But he came back from it saying, that was the most difficult thing I've done, and I can't wait to do it again.
Uh-huh.
So there's purpose. There's meaning in something like that, right?
Absolutely.
Because you just know. And that is not something that you figure out all the time with just your mind. Like, oh, if I do 1, 2, 3, then I'll find purpose and meaning.
Right.
Sometimes I just come and surprise you.
Yeah.
So be open and go out and do things with full commitment, and then decide, is this gives me purpose to live and have meaning?
The other
Yeah.
thing is, in the United States, there are many, many, many ways to make money. And
Right. Money. I mean, how does money come into this?
yeah, money comes into it because we need to feed ourselves. We need a roof over our head.
You want the cool things in
Yeah,
life.
you want those cool things.
Cool
at the
cars,
store.
clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's a trap to be in a dead-end job that is not fulfilling because of the fear of not being able to find something better that will help you.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so money can trap you, and that's something to watch out for.
Yep.
That takes courage to be in a dead-end position
Yeah.
and to leave it and find something else that you think will be fulfilling for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a journey, searching, looking, trying, and many things along the way will help to build you. Maybe that dead-end job was a dead end, but maybe you learned something while you were there. You take that little bit with you, you move on.
How do you... Yeah, that's another thing. That's really good. But another question I have is, how do you communicate this to... How do you communicate your purpose or your feelings or your, you know, how you're... I don't know how to describe it. It's a lot. But how do you communicate this with the people, like your parents or like other adults?
I think you will
you
know.
share from your heart.
Yeah, I think you will know how to communicate it. It's your presence. It's something that you
But if they're like my parents have been good about this, or if they feel they want to support me in anything I guess I want to do, which I really, really appreciate. But I know some people are like maybe it's not obvious, maybe it's not like they're telling you exactly you need to be a doctor, but maybe they're expecting you to get into the STEM fields or expecting you to do something specific. Like, how, you know, I feel like that's really difficult because they're expecting something out of you, and how do you communicate with that?
The thing is,
Or support that, or explain to them politely, you know, or, you know.
The thing is, you might not know right away, especially at 19. I mean, I look back to my life, and Alan looks back at his life. We did a lot of different things. We went to college, we had different jobs. You have to give yourself time, too, to find... I mean, maybe some people are really lucky, and by the time they're 16, they're absolutely clear. But a lot of the people that we know, I mean, it takes time. So be patient, but don't lose track of it. So right now, you're just negotiating with parents, and they want the best for you. But, you know, sometimes we as parents are looking more at the path that you should take rather than at the person that you could be on that path.
Very often parents are coming at it from a financial standpoint. They want you to be secure.
And safe.
From their standpoint, too, they don't want you to be a burden on them as they get older. So both of those things can be in play. But thinking of myself, I was all the way into my senior year at UCLA, advanced accounting and finance major. And I got as far as advanced accounting and CPA review. And it was like, what crap, I know I don't want to do this. I hate this. And I moved into a different direction in my life.
Yeah.
And that was not the easiest thing for my parents, because
they were probably dreaming
he's
of
gonna
you
be
being
a
an accountant.
CPA and
Yeah, exactly.
all that. But
make the big bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Know how to
Finance.
Yeah, how to organize it and keep good accounting of it.
Books.
Take good care of it.
Great books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, you don't know. You know, it takes time.
Yeah.
So don't go around fighting your parents. I mean, they want the best for you.
Yeah.
They really do. And so you just have to be patient. Soon enough, you will be an adult, independent, and making your own decisions.
And decisions you make when you're 15 years old or 18 or 20 very most likely will be different than decisions you will make when you're 30.
Yeah.
So be patient.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
I mean, like, jumping off of that, when I was able to see Max, Rocky, and MJ at the park, you know, during this whole thing, we were talking about how life is so different now because we're in college, and how we're trying to figure it all out. And MJ brought up, he was like, he was kind of saying, like, he was just like, I don't think he said I'm scared, but he was like, it's kind of like maybe, I don't know, he was like basically saying something like, it's kind of scary to like think about how our parents are right now, like, and how they're in these houses and how they have jobs and how they have cars and how they're paying for million bills, and we're looking at this like, oh my God, we're all gonna be in debt in 4 years. You know, how do we get to that? You know,
you and your friends are kind of in a unique little bubble because you come from a very affluent growing up neighborhood community,
right?
And you're used to those things.
So that can put a psychological burden on you,
right?
Like,
that's true.
There are only like maybe less than 1% of the people in the country that live where you grew up or in that level of affluence, and that doesn't mean they're happy.
That's true. I think I mean, the Marin County where I'm from has one of the highest drinking rate or teen drinking rates in the country, and I think that stems directly from
that's really sad.
The adults.
Yeah, that's very sad, and
that's very sad.
But
and
there are adults who are totally happy.
I mean, that has to come from the adults, right? That where did that? I mean, I'm not trying to put the blame on them and saying that's not our, it's not our fault.
Part of it is just as a child, you're in that home, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to make your own way, and how you're going to live up to that.
And then we see the wine cellars. Oh. We go, there you go.
That's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Well, they're also looking for, when everything is given to you and you don't have to work for things, you find yourself empty-handed, And so to me, it's about going out in the world and making what you can make. And not try to
and staying humble.
Yeah, and not match it to somebody else. Your parents maybe do great, and they probably sacrifice a lot to do great, whatever great is. But you might not end up needing, or might not be possible.
But I think there's
reality.
there's a lot of pressure for us to get into that, to match or be very close or do better. But because that's what we've grown up with, and that's what I think they expect us to do.
It's an implicit.
If we didn't do that, I think in general people would
think you're not successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's implicit.
Exactly.
Even
that
if
is
it's
it.
But then go back to living a meaningful life, and find out what that's for you. And it might mean all of those things are there. There's nothing wrong with those things. It's just the attachment to having those things.
There's
and the drive
and the status
and the
of having
drive
them.
To pay any price, even your own life. Give up your good life, giving up your life for that. Like
you mean your happiness, or
no, like working really hard in something that you hate.
Right.
Just to get the car, or just to get the house, or just to have the status.
Yeah.
Don't go for the status. Go for what gives you purpose in life. And that takes a lot of, like Alan said, seeking, really looking and questioning. Always, learning is not just going to school and learning stuff. Learning is always,
what?
No,
what?
No.
That's news to me. No.
No, learning is learning about yourself.
That's hard.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think of college not so much in terms of the courses I took and what I learned in those courses, but how the act of organizing yourself, getting through those courses, being successful with them, and graduating teaches you something. And
Yeah.
it teaches you how to take on a big problem and successfully go through it.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think that is something we're all going, people my age are going to have to deal with
Yeah.
and go through. But
Yeah.
a lot of, a lot to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna have a great life. All of you will. You'll
Thanks,
see.
Grandma.
You will. You will.
Yeah. Well, I think on that note, that's a good wrapping
Place
up
to end.
point. A good
Okay.
place to end it. Thank you
Beautiful.
guys for jumping in on this.
You're welcome.
And
We've never done anything.
never
like
done
that.
anything like this, but it went.
Yeah.
I think it went
This
pretty
is
well.
This was scary, but
was
we
scary.
did it.
There
We
you go.
summoned up our courage.
Summon up your courage.